We have a question from Demetris Sharalambu. Hi Dave, thanks for all the advice. After heavy braking, I get a tank slapper from front to rear on my CBR 1000RR. Where should I look for the problem? Is it rebound related? Help. Well, Demetrius, sorry to hear you're having a problem. That's kind of an unusual one after heavy braking, getting a tank slapper on the bike itself. So let's think about this. Okay, so we got some information missing. Setting sag. Have you done that? Do you have a zip tie on your front fork? If you have a zip tie, is all the travel gone? If all the travel's gone, and therefore you are bottomed out, then yes, that could initiate a tank slapper. If your fork rebound is not adjusted correctly and you brake heavily, the fork can pump. That would give you or initiate some kind of movement backwards and forwards in regards to that. If your steering head bearings haven't been serviced, lubed, and adjusted and set correctly, braking very aggressively and hard will cause the steering head to pitch backward and forward in the steering itself. So that could create, because of a forward and backward motion, that could initiate a tank slapper. Is your tire pressure correct? Have you checked that recently? Just saying. Brake calipers. If you pull the brake caliper off one at a time and look at the pistons, are the pistons equidistant, i.e. are they sticking out exactly the same amount on both sides of the brake caliper on both calipers? So if you have a sticking piston, you're going to get differential braking force on one rotor versus the other, which might initiate a tank slapper. Those are pretty much most of the root causes in regards to that. There may be other things at work in there. Shock rebound may be too fast, and when you brake very heavily, the rear shock is pogoing, pushing all the energy to the front of the bike, which is reflecting it back. That could be another cause. Weight transfer front to back, if sag's not set properly, there could be a huge amount of weight transfer to the front wheel, which overloads the front suspension and could cause it that way too. So plan of attack in finding the source, which is what your question was all about. Check your brake calipers first. Make sure the pistons are set correctly, everything's equidistant, and the front wheel is actually centered in the front forks. I would check your steering head bearings next to make sure there's no adjustment free play there when there should be none, and get that out of the equation. Then I'd go set sag, because the mechanical parts of the equation are gone, and set rebound damping correctly as well as compression damping correctly in the front forks and brake again. Then I'd go to the back of the bike, check sag, and set hydraulics again there and test. Now in doing this, after you correct each thing, you must then test. Don't correct 5 things and go test and magically it went away. You need to know where the source of the problem was, hence your question to me. So after you go through each component, test again. But obviously with a heavy braking test, you have to use common sense. You have to do it in a way that is safe, and that you do it, more importantly, consistently to mimic a condition. So if you're not braking exactly the same every time you go out and test, then the remedies you're trying to throw out there to find the source of the problem will be moot, because you change brake pressure, you change the amount of speed, perhaps, where you apply the brakes. So please be consistent as you're trying to find the problem out. Thanks for your question. If you have questions for me, please send them via Facebook to Dave Moss Tuning, or alternatively leave them here on YouTube at Catalyst Reaction SBW. Thanks very much.